Economic Geography, Lesson 18, Agriculture Growth, Performance and Policy Framework. Objectives. Understanding agricultural development is a requirement with an integrated analysis of growth patterns, economic performance and the policy framework, which is governing the sector agricultural growth patterns, which reveals how the production and the productivity have evolved over a time across the regions, and the crop economic policy highlights the sector contribution to the income, employment and the market integration, while the agricultural policies on the other hand are shaping these outcomes, which are influencing the resource allocation, price stability, technology adoption and sustainability. This lesson examines the agricultural growth, performance and policy in a comprehensive manner by linking growth trend with economical outcome and policy intervention. The lesson enables to critically assess the role of agriculture in the development. Introduction. Agriculture occupies an important place in the economic and the social structure of developing economies. Agriculture is a main source for food employment, raw materials for industries and the livelihood security for a large segment of population. Despite the process of economic diversification, the growing importance of the industries and the service sector, agriculture still plays an important decisive role in ensuring food security, rural employment and balanced regional development in India. The performance of the agricultural sector has a direct bearing on overall economical stability and sustainable development in India. Let us discuss the growth patterns in agriculture. Agricultural growth refers to a sustained development or an increase in the real output over a period of time. It involves an improvement in both quality and the quantity of agricultural production. It is a result of technological process, better resource management and institutional support along with human development in an integrated manner. Agricultural growth is not just defined to the crop production itself, but it is also including the growth in the allied sectors such as livestock, fisheries, forestry, dairy and poultry, which together form an integrated agricultural system in India. From economical perspective, agricultural growth reflects a rising productivity of land and labor, increase in marketable surplus, expansion of the income generating activities in the rural area, structural transformation within the agriculture itself. Unlike industrial growth, the agricultural growth in India is highly sensitive to the geographical factors such as climate, soil and water availability, making it inherently variable and regional specific. Significance of agricultural growth. Agriculture is a main important role in the developing process, particularly in the developing economies. The importance can be understood by food security. It is increasing in the agricultural activity and production, which will ensure adequate availability of food for the growing population, which reduces the dependency on the imports and stabilizing the prices. Employment generation. Agriculture remains one of the largest source of employment and are mainly in the rural areas where around 45% of India's population is directly being employed. Poverty reduction. High agricultural growth directly increases the rural income and has an influence in reducing the poverty. Industrial linkages. Agricultural activity will also support the growth of the development in the agro-based industry, creating the demand for the input from industries. Balanced regional development. As agricultural growth increases, it also supports the development of the backward and the rural regions in India. Foreign exchange earnings. With the increase of the agricultural productivity and the surplus of large amount of export, it is contributing to the balance of payments. Let us discuss the historical phases of agricultural growth in India. Agricultural growth in India has evolved throughout different historical phases where each has shaped by a specific technological, institutional and policy environment. Traditional and pre-green revolution phase. This phase was mainly characterized to the subsistence agriculture, use of primitive tools and techniques which are low cropping intensity and high dependency on the rainfall, that is mainly on monsoons, with poor infrastructure and storage facilities. The growth in this phase was extremely slow and the agricultural output was barely kept with the pace with the growing population of India. We had observed that large amount of food shortages, famines were common and reflecting the structural weaknesses in the agricultural system. Green Revolution phase. The Green Revolution has marked a turning point in the agricultural growth in India. It introduced a package of practices that included high yield variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, large amount of irrigation facilities, farm mechanization and institutional credit support. This phase has shaped an increase of the food grain production, particularly seen in the crops like wheat and rice. Agricultural growth became more stable and predictable in India. However, it also introduced new challenges such as regional imbalances, monocultural practices and environmental degradation. Post-Green Revolution and reform phase, post-1990s. The agricultural growth has increased and been observed with a deceleration in the yield growth. This large amount of shift has been observed towards diversification of crop, market-oriented production, activity increased and also exposed to the global markets, rising cost of cultivation. In this, the agricultural growth became uneven with an increasing inter-regional intercrop disparities. Let us discuss the crop-wise pattern of agricultural growth. Agricultural growth which has been observed is not uniform across the crops. Different crops have exhibited and distinct growth trajectories. Let us discuss about the food grains. The food grains growth has been slowed in the recent decade due to yield stagnation, limited technology breakthroughs, neglect of the rain-fed crops like pulses and the coarse millets, while the rice and the wheat has dominated the production. Crops like pulses continue to show low growth which is affecting the nutritional security of India. Cash crops. The cash crops like cotton, sugarcane, oil seeds and plantation have shown that relatively higher growth than the market demand, export opportunities and policy interventions by the government. However, these crops are more vulnerable to price fluctuation and market risk. Horticulture. The horticulture has emerged as a dynamic growing sector where cropping cycles, employment intensive and also better income potential. Now, this is reflecting as a structural shift from quantity based to value based agriculture. Allied activities. Livestock, dairy, poultry and fisheries also have recorded a faster growth than the crop agriculture in India. These activities provide income diversification, employment for the small farmers and also national security in India. Their growth is contributing for the diversification within the agriculture and allied sector. Regional disparities in agricultural growth. The agricultural growth pattern also have shown significant spatial variations in India, like the regions with assured irrigation and infrastructure has recorded higher growth in agriculture. The rain-fed and the dryland regions have experienced low and unsustainable growth of agriculture. The policy bias towards irrigated crops intensified the regional inequality. The main reason for the regional disparities can be included as a difference in the natural location of the resources, technological access, gaps in infrastructural availability and institutional support. Now, these disparities have serious implications, the rural inequality and the balanced development in Indian agriculture.